On September 10, 2005, the Berenstain Bears was cancelled because of a very disturbing episode called The Death of Brother and Sister, which is a scary episode where brother and sister die from being sucked out from a plane, which makes them both scream as they fell to their deaths. This episode was never supposed to be broadcast on TV but accidentally did. The episode was so terrifying that PBS immediately took it down. There was still footage of the episode on YouTube, even footage from Hunter. There were mock-ups what the episode looked like, though. One day, I was at a pawn shop looking at a bunch of old VHS tapes. While I was looking, I found something kind of strange. It was a Berenstain Bears VHS. It said, "The Berenstain Bears final episode," written with a blue Sharpie. So I took the tape home. While I put it in my VHS player and started watching it, something strange happened. The Berenstain Bears intro played, but the audio was playing in reverse, and everything was grayscaled instead of colorful. Then the episode title came up on the screen. It said, "The Death of Brother Sister." As you would expect, I was really horrified, but I thought that maybe this was just some kind of sick joke, seeing how this episode looked somewhat unfinished, so I continued watching. The episode started with Mama and Papa Bear sitting on the couch reading the newspaper. The animation is now in full color, more like the show's normal quality, although the audio still sounded very distorted. The newspaper says, "New Bear Country airport trip." Papa Bear said, "Brother, sister, good news. We are going to a plane trip." But when brother and sister Bear came down from their rooms, they looked grumpy. Mama and Papa Bear seemed confused. They started talking, which responded with, "Mama, what's wrong with brother and sister?" "Papa, I don't know. They seem angry." "Mama, let's not worry about this." "Papa, okay." The screen faded to the Bear family getting on the plane. When the plane took off, brother started running away, saying, "Oh hell no, I'm going skydiving." Mama yelled, "Brother, what are you doing?" "You come back here right now, mister." He didn't reply, and neither did sister, who also ran away. Instead, they opened the door. "Sister, not you too." Mama yelled, "Come back here or else you'll be grounded." Then, they got sucked out. They both screamed as they fell to their deaths below. Then it showed a hyper-realistic drawing of brother and sister Bear's dead bodies. It zoomed into their faces, just for about 10 seconds, but then, it cut off the whole episode for a whole 5 minutes, before showing the flashbacks, which made me cry. But just after 1 minute, the episode began to be inverted, but then it cuts to the next scene, just without any inverted effect. We see Mama and Papa crying while sitting at the kitchen table. However, the crying didn't sound like cartoon crying, but it actually sounded like the voice actors were realistically crying in pain. There is a slight static sound, and it cuts to brother and sister Bear's funeral. Everything is grayscaled again. Everyone has grim expressions as they stare at brother and sister in their coffins. The scene cuts to Mama sitting at a desk. There is a piece of paper and a pencil next to her. Mama Bear then grips the pencil in her hand and begins writing. She speaks out loud as she writes, "We can't take it. Without my children in our lives, we are nothing. They made us what we are today. We are thankful for them. But now that they are dead, we just have no purpose in life. We cannot live with ourselves without brother and sister. If they are dead, then we want to be dead. Goodbye everyone in Bear Country. We're sorry for hurting anyone, but we just can't live like this anymore. If anyone finds this note, then we are probably doomed. Goodbye forever." There was then no noise. No noise at all except for Mama and Papa Bear saying, "Goodbye." The camera suddenly reveals ropes that are hanging from the ceiling. Mama and Papa bring the nooses around their necks while standing on a stool. They sigh and kick the stool out from underneath them, and their body drops faster than a lead balloon. Mama and Papa hang there, and the camera cuts to static. When the camera starts up again, what I saw scared the crap out of me. It was Mama and Papa Bear. They were hanging. The camera stayed on them, as their bodies swung sideways. The note they made was pinned on the wall. The camera cuts to static, and it cuts to the same scene featuring brother and sister Bear's funeral. However, everyone is gone. The camera then slowly and ominously zooms into brother Bear's coffin while the audio of realistic crying, progressively worse every second plays. This is where the episode started to get worse. It later cuts to Brother Bear's coffin, and when it opens, two realistic eyes appear in the dark while hiding under the coffin. Suddenly, screaming and moaning can be heard in the background, and the camera rapidly zooms into the eyes, causing the coffin to glow red. After that, the screen becomes distorted and it cuts to realistic bears, which were a lot distorted, and they were red and maroon mixed, flashing on the screen. There's also a bunch of loud screams playing in the background, making the episode worse and worse. Then, Brother Bear's arm pops out of nowhere and it suddenly leaps into the camera, causing the screen to explode into pieces. The screen then cuts to static and the episode ends, with the black screen, and text saying, "The Berenstain Bear has died. The series is over. Have a nice life, kids. Goodbye." Then it cuts to the ending credits. However, the screen is completely red, as it all got wavy, and all the characters look and appear in gruesome ways, including Mama and Papa Bear are crying. Brother Bear has become zombified with a horrifying melted face. Sister Bear is still dead while a bloodstained knife is seen behind her. After that, the credits rolled, for some reason only listing writers, Stan and Jen Berenstain, the creators of the Berenstain Bears, on a wavy effect, which showed the corpses of brother and sister's melted faces. The whole screen was red. Then the tape ended, and I threw the tape in the trash can. I wish I had never seen this Berenstain Bears episode before. That night, I couldn't sleep for days and I have nightmares about the episode I watched. I later hear a whispery voice saying, "Hi there, little kid. Remember me?" I came back from the dead because I just sucked out from the plane. In fact, I'm scared of heights. I asked, "Who are you?" "I'm Brother Bear. I'm one of the main characters of the Berenstain Bears, the show that started off in 2002 and then got cancelled in 2005. The voice replied that he's actually Brother Bear. "Then, what you gonna do?" I asked. "Show my design before I'll kill you to death." Brother Bear replied again. I answered, "Okay, sounds interesting." And I then looked into my window and saw a strange bear suit, which was entirely melted in half, and also, it had a red shirt and green pants. Oh, and he also had the same melted face Brother Bear had in the credits. The whole suit was bloody, and I noticed that there's a humanoid which had a lot of scrapes and was screaming in pain, but it was a lot distorted. It was Brother Bear staring at me. I later opened the window, and I suddenly saw clones of Brother Bear staring at me, holding bloodstained knives. I then ran away from my house and hid under the covers. I then looked, and they walked slowly towards me and they sang the Berenstain Bears theme song in reverse while playing a bunch of creepy music boxes. They sang it in a creepy little girl's voices. I then screamed for help. Then, the others came into my house and all the Brother Bear clones were taking over my house, dancing. I then jumped out the window, and I almost broke several bones that I just survived. I then noticed a person dressed in a bloodstained Sister Bear costume. He said his name was Tom McGraw, one of the people who worked on DreamWorks movies such as Megamind and Penguins of Madagascar, the movie. I said, "Hi, Tom, how are you doing?" Tom McGraw said, "I'm fine." I asked, "Wait, how did you get in here?" "Well, it's because me and the two other people will help you by defeating the evil Brother Bear clones." "From how?" I asked. "Disguising as Sister Bear, Papa Bear, and Mama Bear." Tom replied again. I yelled, "What?" And I then saw another person. This time he's dressed up as Papa Bear with X's for eyes. He said his name was John Lasseter, the developer of his 3 Pixar movies, Toy Story, Cars and A Bug's Life. After that, one more person came on. This time he's dressed up as Mama Bear with the same X-shaped eyes. He said his name was Seth MacFarlane, the creator of Family Guy, American Dad, and The Cleveland Show. I said, "Alright, it looks like our team is complete. Now time to stop the evil Brother Bear clones. Deal?" The 3 people said, "Deal." We went back to my house and then we went to the elevator, reaching to floor 3. I said, "Okay, now it's time to defeat them." The 3 people then dressed all up as Sister Bear, Papa Bear, and Mama Bear as they all entered the floor. As the Brother Bear clones were dancing, the 3 people opened the door, wearing the same costumes. One of the clones said, "Sister, Mama, Papa, is that you?" "Yes, "We are," John replied. "Yay, my family's back. Come and give me a big hug," Brother said. The three people then took off their costumes, holding weapons, saying, "Gotcha bitch," causing them to shoot one of the clones. This makes all the Brother Bear clones angered as they all attack me, Tom and John one by one, each time roaring like grizzly bears. Seth MacFarlane at this point started to run away from one of the clones, screaming while the clone chases him. Seth then wakes up from a nightmare, and he goes to his desk, creating a stick figure version of Family Guy without Stewie Griffin, saying, "Yep, original. Remember, if you see a Berenstain Bears episode that has blood, gore, scary images, and jump scares on it, don't watch it. If you do, the spirits of brother and sister will haunt you in your nightmares."